Movie star.
Really? Are you serious? You didn't read it?
Shit, I just told you that I read it in high school. It's like one of my favorite books, too.
Really? Did you teach it in high school? Because that's what we have to do, and it's like 30% of our grade. I mean, do you have any materials prepped? Do you have handouts? Do you have a summary? Do you even know the characters' names?
Yeah, there's Dominique, the super hot, heartless bitch. And then there's Howard Rourke, the Christ figure, who has a red beard. Or at least I imagined him having a red beard. And then there's Peter, this spineless guy, who's somehow really successful. And it's all about architecture and subjectivism.
You mean objectivism.
Right.
And who's Ellsworth Tooley?
Doesn't ring a bell.
What about Gail Wynad?
Are you making up characters that I feel stupid?
No, but that would be a good idea.
I'll spark notes it tonight. We'll be fine. I'm an education major, so I know that preparation is very important in teaching. But so is passion. Therefore, I think we should just talk about what interests us most. Thoughts?
Yeah, you know, I feel like Ayn Rand, though I have a really difficult time reading her text, I think she makes a good kind of criticism of Christians. Under a formalist approach, her text speaks out against our sense of giving over our identities to those around us. And Howard Rourke really does make a strong case for us embracing who we are and living in that. Even though I think the selfish account is a little short-sighted.
Are you an English major?
You know, I'm studying philosophy, but I take a class or two.
Yeah, okay.
Tim, OMG, I found my soulmate.
Of course you did.
It is Jeff Smith. He just said the most beautiful things about the Fountainhead. And he talked about Kierkegaard and existentialism and how, as Christians, we need to see ourselves as Howard Rourke because...
Honey, stop. You're gushing and it's not attractive.
But he is worth the gushing, Timmy. He is, like, so deep. And he has great arms. Do you know anything about him?
I think he's a student chaplain.
A student chaplain. So even though he's intelligent and introspective, he's not weighed down by questions but legitimately loves Jesus?
Apparently.
Ugh! Why didn't I fall in love with him sooner? We could be married by now.
I think he was in Israel and Palestine last semester. That's probably why you don't know him.
A world traveler? Shut up, our kids will be so cultured.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Rachel. You haven't even gone on a first date yet. How do you know he's what you're looking for?
Timmy, he is everything that I'm looking for. I just need him to know that I'm what he's looking for. But I don't know how to do that. Am I allowed to ask him out?
If you were gay, you could.
Damn it, it's so oppressive being straight.
Yeah. Thank God I broke those chains. You need to let this happen naturally.
I've been aiming for organic relationships the past 4 years, and it's gotten me nowhere.
Jim Stein was not organic.
Doesn't anyone believe I've grown up a little since then?
Hello, dear. What can I do for you?
Hi. I was just wondering if there was someone I could meet with, like a student chaplain.
Well, can you tell me a little bit more about what you wanted to talk about so I can help to put you with the right person?
Yeah. I'm really struggling with God right now, and none of my beliefs seem to fit together because there's the problem of pain and the idea of hell. I hate hell, and I'm just really frustrated.
Oh, honey, you are not alone in this. Do you know Jeff Smith? I think you might enjoy talking to him.
Lying, the best way to start a relationship.
It wasn't lying. I do struggle with the problem of evil.
So much so that you had to go to the chaplain's office?
Well, that's what it's there for, Nora. What is Jeff Smith going to do if I'm not exaggerating my spiritual qualms?
You and Jeff Smith would never work anyway. He wants to be a pastor.
So, I could be a pastor's wife. I like church, and I'm okay with being poor. And we can survive on my teacher's salary.
If you were a pastor's wife, you couldn't swear or gossip.
Yeah, well, doesn't it depend on the church? What if he pastored one of those trendy churches that are all hip and stuff? I bet they'd eat up a cussing pastor's wife. I bet they'd adore me for being real and open.
You're no Nancy Botwin. I have about as much hope for this as I did with Tim Decker. Maybe less.
Rachel, I'm so happy we got to get together again. I found our conversation about the Fountainhead to be, well, absolutely stimulating.
I just hope our presentation is inspiring as well.
Right on, right on. Now I'm told you're struggling with some philosophical questions.
Yeah, the problem of suffering. Ugh. I could go into more detail, but I'd really just love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, the problem of suffering. Gosh, I've struggled with that one myself for such a long time. I probably always will be.
That was such a beautiful way of explaining it, Jeff.
Thanks. I'm sorry if I rambled. Do you have peace about it now?
I do.
Oh, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything else on your heart?
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, I'll finish with seminary, and I guess I see myself in the church somewhere.
Anything else in that vision? A wife? Maybe a future English teacher who struggles with the problem of pain?
That's very sweet of you, Rachel, but I just became a Catholic. I just joined the Catholic Church. I'm thinking about becoming a priest.
Funny. Did Tim put you up to that? Did he pay you?
I don't really understand what you're talking about. I mean, I joined St. John's and they didn't charge anything. There was no fee. And I mean, I worked at a monastery this summer and I had to pay for my food, but I mean, I hope you don't see the Catholic Church as something about indulgences anymore. We've really tried to move past that.
WTF, Jeff? You can't get married if you're going to be a priest.
We were going to get married?
Well, shit, why else would I fake a spiritual breakdown?
You faked that?
I'm not the only one that's been dishonest here, Jeffrey. You didn't tell me you were going to be celibate for life. How do you think that makes me feel? I had plans for us. I picked out our kids' names. Which is no easy task. Do you know how boring Smith is?
Gosh, Rach, I didn't know you thought of me that way. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Well, I'm sorry Parker and Nathaniel won't have a father.
I think this needs more soy milk.
What if I became a nun? Then we could have a steamy affair. I read this Danielle Steele novel once where the priest and the nun were lovers. Very sexy. In retrospect, the priest-nun thing might have been slightly sacrilegious.
Rachel, I am not worth mortal sin. Do you know how far that would set you back in purgatory?
But Jeff, I love you. You philosophize. And you have such nice arms.
Rachel, God's calling you to the priesthood. I know celibacy isn't the most romantic thing, but I mean, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
You just got sexier.
Rachel, why don't you find someone who's interested in the same things you are?
Well, that plan has failed. I fall in love with gay guys and future priests.
You know what? I think God might be calling you to something. Maybe He's calling you to singleness. That way you can focus on the things He's called you to. Like teaching.
So this could be like, God is God, I am Job. God took away Job's wife and his kids and his wealth, just like God's taking away my opportunities for a boyfriend. But Job didn't complain, and so he got a younger wife and more kids and a shitload of sheep. So maybe in 5 years, if I don't complain, God will give me a super hot husband who likes to give foot massages and has a timeshare in South Carolina. But what if God is God and I am Paul, and God's like, Paul, you have to be single forever. And Paul's like, okay,